Have you ever wondered why she only realizes what truly matters after losing you? It's as if, all of a sudden, she sees the person she once disregarded in an entirely new light. The individual she once looked down on becomes someone she can't get out of her mind. This shift hits her unexpectedly, and suddenly, she finds herself longing for the past, wishing to return to those moments with you, even after uttering harsh words and dismissing your worth. Let me tell you, gentlemen, it's no coincidence. It's all part of a psychological strategy that, if used correctly, works like putting a golden circlet on her, making it nearly impossible for her to walk away from you. In this guide, I'll reveal 7 reasons why she came back after you gave her distance and the methods to ensure she comes back. Pay close attention, because not a single reason here is random or irrelevant. Each one is a key to understanding her return and how to make it happen. Stay focused and analyze every detail carefully. Visualize this. They're engaged in their daily activities, yet something feels amiss. Your customary text message remains undelivered, the familiar cadence of your speech is absent, and abruptly, their world feels somewhat chillier, somewhat more vacant. They attempt to occupy the emptiness with diversions, with other individuals, but nothing truly compares. It's during these tranquil moments of introspection that they begin to comprehend the significance of your presence. Your absence transforms into a mirror, reflecting all the instances they dismissed you, all the occasions they neglected to value you while you were readily available. Now, with your departure, this epiphany strikes them with unexpected force. As the proverb states, "Absence sharpens love, presence strengthens it." This quotation flawlessly encapsulates why creating distance can have such a significant effect. By establishing space, you afford them the chance to genuinely sense the weight of your absence, to acknowledge their loss, and to grasp the extent of your importance to them. It serves as a potent reminder that occasionally it's within the emptiness we generate that our genuine worth is most profoundly perceived. Therefore, my Stoic companions, let us advance toward our affirmation for today. I am highly valuable. Proclaim it with conviction. Share it in the comments section. Allow them to discover that you recognize your worth, that you are no longer under their control, no longer subservient to their whims. Demonstrate to the world that you have regained your agency, that you stand resolute and unwavering in your self-worth. Excellent, my Stoic comrades. Let's proceed. Now everyone, before we delve into the motivations behind their return after you've established distance, let's pause to examine a critical element. This constitutes the bedrock of everything we're about to explore, and believe me, you won't want to overlook it. Set aside any other tasks and concentrate here, as comprehending this could fundamentally alter the outcome for you. Envision having distanced yourself, retreated, and established that space. What follows? Is that sufficient? Not entirely. At the outset of this discussion, I indicated that distancing yourself serves to center your attention on yourself. That is the crux. If you believe simply departing marks the conclusion, you are mistaken. Certainly, they might begin to feel your absence, but this only transpires if a spark of affection for you already exists within their hearts. What if that ember was never present? What if they don't miss you personally, but rather the ease you provided, the function you served as their pawn? Here's the stark reality. If they treated you poorly, as a mere instrument, they didn't genuinely value you. And if they didn't value you, your absence might not impact them as you anticipate. So, what now? Is this the end of the line? Absolutely not. The explanations I'm about to present have the potential to ignite their longing for you. However, there's a caveat. These reasons will only prove effective if you fully comprehend them and permit them to guide you along the correct trajectory. This is how you kindle the flame within their hearts, how you reverse the situation. Now that you possess a clearer understanding, let us proceed to the element you've been anticipating, the reasons they'll return desiring your presence. And friends, please ensure you don't overlook a single reason, as each is essential in converting their apathy into yearning. Reason number 1. The astonishment of unforeseen personal development. Let's delve deeply into the first and perhaps most compelling reason why she may come back after you've given her distance. The shock of your unexpected transformation. This isn't just about catching her off guard. It's about redefining who you are in a way that changes how she perceives you entirely. It's a powerful shift that can leave her intrigued, surprised, and even longing for the new version of you. Imagine this scenario. You step away from someone who once treated you as an afterthought, someone who perhaps took your presence for granted. She may have thought she knew you completely, your habits, your vulnerabilities, and even your insecurities. To her, you were predictable, always there, always within her grasp. But what happens when the person she expects to return unchanged suddenly re-emerges as someone entirely different? This is where the magic of personal growth comes into play. When you use the time apart to invest in yourself, you're doing more than just creating distance. You're taking control of your narrative. You're no longer the person who relied on her validation to feel worthy. Instead, you become someone who defines their own value, someone who takes their experiences and turns them into fuel for self-improvement. And that, my friend, is a game changer. At first, she might assume your absence is temporary or that you're playing a game to get her attention. But as time passes, and she starts noticing subtle yet profound changes in you, it triggers something unexpected. The version of you she thought she understood no longer exists. Instead, she's confronted with someone new, someone more confident, composed, and most importantly, unattainable. This change catches her off guard, forcing her to see you through a new lens. Why does this surprise matter so much? It's simple. People are drawn to what they can't fully understand or control. When you evolve into someone she didn't anticipate, it disrupts her perception of you. She begins to question what else she might have overlooked about you. This sense of mystery and newfound intrigue compels her to take a closer look, perhaps for the first time, at who you truly are. But let's get practical. How do you create this level of personal growth? The key is to use your time apart intentionally. This isn't about pretending to change or putting on a facade. It's about real, meaningful transformation. Start by focusing on areas of your life that need improvement. Maybe it's your physical health, so you hit the gym regularly and adopt a healthier lifestyle. Perhaps it's your career, so you set new goals or pursue a passion project that energizes you. It could even be your emotional well-being, where you prioritize mental health, self-reflection, or mindfulness. The point is, you're not doing this to impress her or anyone else. You're doing it for yourself, to become the best version of who you are. This genuine growth is what makes the transformation so compelling. It's not superficial, it's rooted in a deeper sense of purpose and confidence. And when she sees this change, it's impossible to ignore. Picture this. Months after your last interaction, you cross paths at a social event. She expects the same old version of you, the one who was always available, always seeking her approval. Instead, she sees someone completely different. You're more confident, carrying yourself with a quiet assurance that didn't exist before. You're engaging, but not in a way that seeks her validation. You've cultivated new interests, formed new habits, and developed a sense of independence that makes you stand out. She's left wondering, when did this happen? How did I miss this? This moment of realization is powerful. It's humbling for her because it challenges the assumptions she had about you. It also forces her to confront her own role in taking you for granted. Suddenly, the person she thought she knew feels out of reach, and that creates a sense of longing and curiosity. As the philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote perfectly encapsulates the essence of personal growth. You can't control how she views you or what she does, but you can control how you grow and transform. By focusing on your own development, you create an inner strength that radiates outward. This strength is what makes you so captivating when you reappear in her life. The takeaway here is straightforward but profound. Never underestimate the power of personal growth. When you distance yourself and use that time to become the best version of yourself, you shift the dynamics entirely. You're no longer the person she once knew. You're someone who has evolved beyond her expectations. And that, my friend, is how you not only surprise her, but also leave her longing for the new, improved version of you. So, the question now is, are you ready to embrace this transformative journey? Are you willing to invest in yourself, not to prove something to her, but to prove to yourself just how incredible you can be? Because when you do, the results speak for themselves. You're no longer chasing her attention. You've become the person she can't stop thinking about. Here's where I encourage your active participation. Leave a comment below and share how you intend to astound someone with your unexpected personal development. What measures are you taking to actualize your full potential? Remember, this isn't solely about demonstrating something to others. It's about proving something to yourself. You possess the ability to change, to grow, and to become someone even you didn't anticipate. So, are you prepared to embrace this transformative journey? Are you prepared to allow your unanticipated transformation to serve as the wake-up call they never anticipated? Let's embark on this journey together. Maintain your resolve, continue growing, and observe as they return yearning for the enhanced, improved you. Number 2. The allure of self-reliance. Let's dive into the second powerful reason she may begin to desire your presence after you've established distance: the irresistible allure of self-sufficiency. This concept resonates deeply because it touches on a universal truth. People are drawn to those who radiate independence and a sense of wholeness. When you embody this self-reliance, you don't just catch her attention, you captivate her completely. Imagine this. In the past, you were the one always reaching out, initiating conversations, and ensuring everything in the relationship was running smoothly. You were heavily invested, always available, always present. But now, you've shifted your focus. Instead of pouring all your energy into her, you've redirected it inward. You've stopped seeking validation from her and have started finding it within yourself. You've become self-reliant, confident, and thriving in your own company. And let me tell you, there is nothing more magnetic than that. By embracing self-sufficiency, you send a clear message. I'm here because I choose to be, not because I need to be. This subtle yet profound mental shift makes a world of difference. It shows that your happiness, worth, and identity are no longer tied to her approval or presence. And here's the paradox. The less you need someone, the more they are drawn to you. Self-reliance becomes a gravitational force, pulling her in without you even trying. Let's consider the dynamics at play here. When you're constantly chasing someone's attention, they may start to undervalue you. It's human nature. We often take for granted what is always available. But when you step back and invest in your own growth, you create a stark contrast. You're no longer the person who waits for her calls or prioritizes her needs above your own. Instead, you're someone who thrives independently, someone who radiates confidence and contentment. This transformation forces her to see you in a completely new light. There's a certain irony in this, isn't there? The more you focus on yourself, the more attractive you become to her. It's like walking into a room with your head held high, fully confident in who you are. People notice that energy, and so does she. She begins to wonder, what's different about him? Why does he seem so grounded, so at ease? Let's bring this concept to life with an example. Picture a relationship where you were always the giver. You constantly checked in, made sure she was happy, and put her needs above your own. Now, you've chosen to step back, not out of spite, but to prioritize yourself. You start hitting the gym, picking up new hobbies, or simply enjoying your own company. You're no longer glued to your phone, waiting for her texts. You're fully engaged in living your best life. Fast forward a few weeks. Suddenly, she begins reaching out more often. She's curious about what you've been up to. She wants to know why you seem so different, so unbothered, so magnetic. What's changed? The answer is simple. You've become self-sufficient. You're flourishing independently, and that's incredibly attractive to her. This isn't about playing games or manipulating her into wanting you back. It's about genuine self-growth. When you stop relying on others for your happiness, you transform into someone people naturally gravitate toward, not out of obligation, but because of the strength you exude. As Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a reason to live for can bear with almost any how." Your why becomes your growth, your happiness, and your self-sufficiency. This purpose fuels you, and that energy is impossible to ignore. But why is self-sufficiency so appealing? Because it represents wholeness. It shows her that you're not looking for someone to complete you. You're already complete on your own. This independence is rare and valuable. It signals that your presence in her life would be a choice, not a necessity, and that distinction is profoundly attractive. Here's another layer to consider. Self-reliance doesn't mean cutting people off or building walls. It means becoming so comfortable and fulfilled in your own skin that your happiness isn't dependent on others. When you embody this mindset, your relationships naturally improve. You're no longer seeking validation or chasing approval. Instead, you're inviting people into your life for the right reasons, because they enhance your already fulfilling existence. So, how do you cultivate this self-sufficiency? Start by identifying areas where you can grow. Is it your health? Begin a workout routine or adopt healthier habits. Is it your personal interests? Explore hobbies or activities that bring you joy. Is it your mindset? Practice mindfulness or seek out opportunities for self-reflection. The key is to focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not for her, but for you. When you do this, you'll notice a shift not just in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. You'll feel more confident, more grounded, and more in control of your life. And when she sees this change, she won't be able to look away. She'll be drawn to the new, self-assured you, wondering how she ever overlooked your potential. The takeaway here is simple yet profound. Self-sufficiency is not just about independence, it's about inner wholeness. When you stop seeking validation from others and find contentment within yourself, you naturally become more desirable. People, including her, will want to be around you, not because they think you need them, but because they recognize your strength and independence. So, are you ready to embrace this transformative journey? Are you prepared to prioritize your growth and become the best version of yourself? Remember, this isn't about proving anything to her. It's about proving to yourself what you're truly capable of. When you do, the results will speak for themselves. She'll come to realize that the person she once knew has evolved into someone she can't help but desire. And that, my friend, is the power of self-sufficiency. Now, friends, we've nearly reached the midpoint of our discussion. If you have any questions thus far, please share them in the comments. I am here to assist. And if everything is perfectly clear, then this video certainly deserves a thumbs up. So please like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay informed about these valuable insights. I now request your focused attention as we transition to the subsequent portion of the discussion. Believe me, this is where the narrative truly becomes compelling. Maintain your concentration, as remaining focused is key. You've already invested your time to reach this point, so why not invest a little more and delve into the heart of our topic? This next segment is crucial, and it could be the decisive factor between comprehending what ignites their desire for your presence and missing out on transformative insights. Reason number 3. The envy of your newly discovered confidence. Let's explore the third compelling reason she might begin longing for your presence after you've created distance: the irresistible power of your newfound confidence. This transformation isn't just about self-assurance. It taps into an emotion deeply rooted in human nature: envy. But this isn't the destructive kind of envy. Instead, it's the type intertwined with admiration, the kind that sparks curiosity and compels someone to notice you in a completely new light. Picture this. You've taken time to focus on yourself, dedicating effort to personal growth. The insecurities that once held you back are fading, replaced by a quiet strength that emanates from within. You're no longer the hesitant individual who relied on external validation. Instead, you walk into a room with your head held high, comfortable in your own skin and unafraid to take up space. Let me assure you, confidence like this is captivating and even a little intimidating. When you distance yourself from someone who once took you for granted and use that time to cultivate genuine confidence, an incredible shift occurs. She begins to see you differently. She notices the way you carry yourself, the way you speak with clarity and assurance, the way you seem entirely at peace with who you are. This confidence is striking. It demands attention. And as she observes this transformation, a thought crosses her mind. How did I overlook this before? Confidence is magnetic because it signals that you no longer depend on anyone else for your sense of self-worth. You've built it from within, and that's a quality people admire and envy. Watching you thrive, she may begin comparing herself to you, wondering why she lacks that same level of assurance. This envy isn't bitter or resentful. It's the kind that inspires admiration and curiosity. She begins to desire the confidence you exude, and in turn finds herself drawn to you once more. Let's make this more tangible. Imagine a relationship where she held most of the power. She was the confident one, the decision maker, while you took a more passive role. You deferred to her preferences, avoided confrontation, and perhaps even diminished parts of yourself to keep the peace. But during your time apart, you've confronted your fears, worked on your insecurities, and grown into someone stronger. The next time she sees you, it's clear. You're no longer the person who used to shrink in her presence. You express your thoughts unapologetically, stand tall, and radiate a confidence that catches her off guard. In that moment, even if she smiles and congratulates you on your transformation, a small voice within her whispers, "I wish I had that kind of confidence." That's where the envy begins to take root. It's not a negative envy. It's a realization that you've evolved into someone admirable, someone she now aspires to be closer to. Your newfound confidence doesn't just shift how she perceives you, it also forces her to reevaluate herself. She may realize that she had grown complacent in the relationship, relying on your previous insecurities to maintain the upper hand. Now the dynamic has shifted, you've leveled the playing field. You're no longer seeking approval, instead you're standing firmly in your own worth. This change doesn't just surprise her, it intrigues her. There's a mystical quality to confidence. It has the power to reshape perceptions, alter dynamics, and ignite attraction. Confidence changes not only how others see you, but also how you see yourself. It's a transformation that's impossible to ignore. As Ralph Waldo Emerson wisely said, "Self-trust is the first secret of success." Your newfound confidence is rooted in self-trust, the understanding that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of all the good life has to offer. When you trust yourself, you no longer need anyone else's validation, and that is the foundation of true confidence. So, how does this confidence translate into her longing for your presence? It's simple. She notices that the power dynamic has shifted. You no longer need her approval or reassurance. You're charting your own path, and your independence and self-assurance are both intriguing and intimidating. She begins to envy the confidence you've cultivated, and in that envy, she finds herself drawn back to you, not because she feels needed, but because she admires what you've become. This shift is profound. She no longer sees you as someone who relied on her for strength. Instead, she sees you as someone who inspires strength in others, and that is irresistible. The takeaway is clear. Confidence is a magnet. When you build it from within, you don't just transform your life, you change the way others see you. She begins to long for the new, confident version of you because it's something she admires, envies, and deeply desires to be around. Confidence isn't about perfection. It's about trusting yourself enough to embrace your imperfections and stride boldly toward your goals. So, how are you building your confidence? What steps are you taking to become the self-assured person you aspire to be? Remember, this journey isn't about impressing her. It's about proving to yourself just how strong, capable, and confident you can become. When you do, the results are undeniable. She won't just notice your transformation, she'll be drawn to it. And that, my friend, is the power of confidence. Reason number 4. The enchantment of unpredictability. Let's explore the fourth reason she might desire your presence after you've established distance. The captivating allure of unpredictability. This is a powerful factor because it disrupts expectations, taps into curiosity, and keeps her engaged in a way that your former predictable self never could. For a long time, she believed she had you all figured out. You were reliable, consistent, and always present when she needed you. She was familiar with your routines, habits, and even how you'd respond to various situations. But now you've withdrawn, created space, and invested in your own self-improvement. Suddenly you're no longer the open book she once thought you were, and that's when the intrigue begins. Unpredictability fascinates because it breaks the monotony. It sparks curiosity. She starts to wonder what's going on in your life, why you've changed, and what you might do next. When you were always available and consistent, there was no mystery to uncover. Now every action you take seems fresh, different, even enigmatic, and this shift compels her to pay closer attention. Humans are naturally drawn to what they can't easily anticipate or understand. It's like watching a movie with an unexpected twist. It keeps you hooked, eager for more. Relationships are no different. When you stop being predictable, she begins to wonder, What's going on with him? Why is he acting differently? What changed? This curiosity becomes magnetic, making her think about you more often and with greater intensity. Here's an example to illustrate the concept. Imagine that you were always the one to initiate plans. She became accustomed to you taking the lead, reaching out, organizing meetups, and being the one to keep the connection alive. But now you've stepped back, you're still present, but you've stopped initiating. Instead, you're focusing on your own pursuits, exploring new hobbies, meeting new people, or simply enjoying your own company. Suddenly, she notices your absence in the dynamic and starts wondering, why hasn't he called? What's he doing? This newfound uncertainty makes you more intriguing. The same actions that might have been taken for granted before now stand out. She begins to notice small changes and spends time speculating about what's going on in your world. That sense of intrigue deepens her thoughts about you and makes her more engaged than before. Unpredictability also shifts the power dynamic in your favor. When others can't anticipate your moves, they are more likely to stay invested and keep checking in to see what you'll do next. Instead of you constantly wondering about her thoughts and feelings, now she's the one curious about yours. This reversal puts you in a position of strength, where her interest and attention are naturally drawn toward you. As the philosopher Alan Watts once said, "The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance." By embracing change and unpredictability, you're not just adapting to life, you're setting the rhythm. And she, in turn, is left striving to keep up with your moves, wondering what you'll do next. The key takeaway here is simple yet transformative. Unpredictability is captivating. By breaking free from old patterns and becoming less predictable, you create a sense of mystery and curiosity that draws her back to you. It's not about playing games, it's about genuinely evolving and allowing that evolution to be visible. When she can no longer predict your every move, she'll begin to see you in a new, more compelling light. And that intrigue might just reignite her desire for your presence. And so, how does this unpredictability translate into them desiring your presence? It's straightforward. People are drawn to what they cannot easily define. When you become unpredictable, you become interesting again. They desire to learn more, to understand the changes within you, and in doing so, they find themselves thinking about you increasingly. So, how are you embracing unpredictability in your life? What changes have you implemented that keep others guessing? Remember, being unpredictable is not about manipulation. It's about growing, evolving, and keeping life stimulating. Let's keep them on their toes and observe as they inevitably crave the new, intriguing you. Reason number 5. The recognition of their loss. Let's explore the 5th reason why they will crave your presence after you've established distance, the acknowledgement of what they have lost. This reason is particularly poignant because it centers on the moment of realization, when they finally grasp the significance you held in their lives and the extent of their loss by taking you for granted. Imagine this. You have distanced yourself, concentrated on your personal growth, and embarked upon living your best life. Meanwhile, they proceed with their routine, assuming your constant presence as before. However, as days transition into weeks, a shift begins to occur. They start to notice the absence of your messages, your calls, your presence in their lives. Initially, they might dismiss it as insignificant, but gradually, it sinks in. You are no longer a constant, and their lives feel somewhat emptier without you. This realization strikes them with considerable force. Suddenly, they perceive all the small gestures you made that enriched their lives. Perhaps it was your attentive listening ear during their difficulties, your ability to evoke laughter, or your unwavering support in times of need. These are aspects they likely took for granted when you were readily available, but now, with your absence, their significance becomes strikingly apparent. Loss possesses a peculiar characteristic. Often it requires losing something to truly appreciate its value. When you were perpetually accessible, they didn't need to contemplate life without you. But now, having created distance, they are compelled to confront that reality. And in that confrontation, they begin to recognize that perhaps, just perhaps, they were mistaken to undervalue you. Consider this analogy. Have you ever misplaced a cherished possession? Perhaps a beloved piece of jewelry or a treasured keepsake? At first, you might not dwell on it, but as time passes, you increasingly feel its absence. You begin to regret not cherishing it more, not appreciating it while you possessed it. The same phenomenon occurs in relationships. When you step back, they begin to miss the value you brought into their lives, and that realization can be profound. This isn't simply about them regretting their treatment of you. It's about them comprehending the depth of their loss. They begin to revisit memories, recalling the shared joyful moments, the support you provided, and the happiness you brought into their existence. This reflective process can be enlightening and often leads to a profound sense of regret. And here's where the situation becomes interesting. Upon recognizing their loss, they begin to yearn for it. They long for the return of that feeling, that sense of connection and comfort that only you provided. However, here lies the catch. They understand they cannot simply re-enter your life as if nothing has changed. They realize they must earn their place back, that they must demonstrate their worthiness to be a part of your life again. As the saying goes, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. This encapsulates the essence of their realization. They took you for granted, and now they are facing the consequences. But within that loss, within that realization, they begin to perceive you for who you truly are. Someone who enriched their lives immeasurably, someone they should never have allowed to slip away. So, how do you anticipate the individuals in your life will react when they grasp what they have lost? Have you ever experienced someone returning after recognizing your worth? Remember, your value remains constant regardless of someone's inability to perceive it. By withdrawing, you provide them with the opportunity to recognize their loss and to understand your true worth. And that, my friends, is the moment they begin to crave your presence like never before. Reason number 6. The yearning to partake in your new chapter. Let's discuss the 6th reason why they will desire your presence after you have created distance: the longing to be a part of your new journey. This centers on the irresistible attraction they feel as they witness your evolution and growth into a stronger, more content, and more fulfilled individual. Envision this. Having stepped back and prioritized your personal development, you are no longer the person they once knew. You have been actively working on yourself, embracing new challenges, exploring new interests, and generally elevating your life. They observe this transformation from afar, and it's akin to watching a flower gradually unfold in all its splendor. They are captivated. Suddenly, you are no longer simply the person they once knew. You are someone vibrant, someone embarking on a journey that appears incredibly enriching. This is where the narrative becomes intriguing. As they observe your progress, a shift occurs within them. They begin to recognize that they are missing out. They witness the positive changes you are undergoing, the new experiences you are embracing, and they develop a desire to be a part of this new chapter in your life. It's similar to being excluded from a remarkable adventure in which everyone else is participating. And let's be frank, no one enjoys feeling left out. This desire transcends merely reconnecting. It's about wanting to be involved in something exhilarating and novel. Your growth, your journey, becomes something they yearn to participate in. They begin contemplating how they could fit into this new version of your life, how they could share in your achievements and be present for your future endeavors. However, there's a caveat. They understand that they cannot simply re-enter your life as if nothing has transpired. They recognize that you have progressed, and if they wish to be a part of your new journey, they must bring something valuable to the table. This realization motivates them to enhance their own lives, to strive for betterment, to align with the new, improved version of you. So, what will your new journey entail? How are you evolving and growing? Share your thoughts in the comments below, describing the new paths you are exploring. Remember, by focusing on your own journey, you cultivate a life that others will naturally desire to be a part of. And that is when they will begin to long for your presence, not because of who you were, but because of who you are becoming. Reason number 7. The apprehension of losing you to another. Let's delve into the final reason why they will begin craving your presence after you have established distance: the fear of losing you to someone else. This reason is particularly potent because it stems from a primal emotion: fear. Specifically, the fear that another individual will recognize and appreciate the incredible value you possess that they previously took for granted. Imagine this. You have withdrawn, concentrated on yourself, and begun to flourish. You radiate confidence, self-reliance, and the excitement of new experiences. They witness this transformation, and suddenly it strikes them. What if someone else recognizes this as well? What if someone else enters the picture and captures your heart? The notion of you moving forward with a new partner, someone who genuinely values you, creates a profound sense of urgency and anxiety within them. This fear transcends simply losing you. It's about losing you to someone who perceives what they overlooked. It's the fear that another individual will experience the best version of you, the version they failed to appreciate. And let's be honest, no one wants to watch someone they once shared a connection with find greater happiness with another person. This fear can serve as a powerful catalyst. It compels them to re-evaluate their actions, to contemplate their potential loss if they fail to take action. It's the fear of being replaced, of witnessing your happiness with someone else, that drives them to crave your presence more than ever. So, have you ever witnessed someone re-enter your life due to the fear of losing you to another? Share your experiences in the comments below. Remember, when you prioritize becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally cultivate a sense of worth that others will be reluctant to lose. And that is when they will realize the need to improve themselves or risk losing you permanently. And there you have it, 7 reasons why she still comes back. Even when you stop caring. Have you taken it all in? If you found this valuable, don't forget to like and subscribe. This isn't about playing emotional games, it's the art of understanding psychology. With this knowledge, we're about to reveal how to use psychological tricks to make your woman come back. Do you have what it takes to master the art of psychological influence? That remains to be seen, but only if you watch until the end. Stay tuned. Number 1. Giving her space. I get it. It's pretty risky. Will she ever come back if you do this? And the answer is probably. Girls hate space. Honestly, I put my hand up for this. She will say things like, "Just go away, I need some space." And she would then be mortified when the guy actually does that. Navigating the delicate balance of giving her space can feel like walking a tightrope. On one side, there's the fear that distance might lead to a permanent split. On the other, there's the understanding that space can actually strengthen a relationship, making the heart grow fonder. Firstly, it's crucial to understand the psychological principle behind space in relationships. When you give someone space, you're not stepping away. You're actually fostering an environment where independence and personal growth can flourish. For many, especially after expressing a need for space, the initial reaction to actual solitude can be discomfort. This reaction is rooted in our basic human need for connection. Even when someone explicitly asks for space, it doesn't necessarily mean they want complete disconnection. This is where the subtlety of giving space comes into play. It's about being emotionally available without being physically overbearing. You're present in a way that respects her boundaries, yet reassures her of your commitment. Moreover, giving space can dramatically enhance the quality of interactions when you do come back together. It's like pressing the refresh button on a sluggish computer. Suddenly, everything runs smoother and faster. When both partners have had the time to miss each other, they tend to focus more on the positives, making conversations more engaging and interactions more appreciated. When you do give space, do it with confidence. Don't play it as a game of emotional chess, waiting for her to make a move out of desperation. Instead, see it as an act of emotional generosity. You're giving her something she asked for, trusting that the space you provide will be the breathing room your relationship needs to continue growing. In practice, if she's a bit distant, resist the urge to fill every silence or bridge every gap. Allow her to initiate contact. This shows respect for her pace and her needs. It can be tempting to jump back in at the first sign of her missing you, but patience here is key. Let the reunion be something that she walks into willingly, not something she feels coaxed or cornered into. Giving space, when done right, is not about creating distance, but about cultivating a mature, healthy dynamic where both partners feel they can breathe, grow, and still choose each other. Remember, true connection isn't about being inseparable. It's about being separated, and nothing changes. Number 2. Evoking jealousy. One of the most potent psychological triggers in relationships is jealousy. It's a complex emotion that can drive people to reconsider their decisions and actions concerning their romantic interests. In the strategic realm of rekindling a lost relationship, evoking jealousy can be a pivotal move. It's about subtly reminding your ex of your value and what they're missing, which can spark a desire to come back. The psychology behind jealousy is deeply rooted in possessiveness and the fear of loss. When a woman sees a man she once had deep feelings for, now garnering attention from others, or seemingly happy in the company of someone new, it can trigger a sense of jealousy. This isn't just about making her feel envious for the sake of it, but about highlighting your desirability and worth. It's a reminder that you are a catch, and that her decision to leave might have been premature. To effectively stimulate jealousy, you need to be tactical. It's not about flaunting new relationships explicitly, but rather about creating an aura of success and contentment around yourself. For instance, when she sees or hears about you being out and having fun, looking good, or advancing in your career, it naturally makes her question whether she walked away from a good thing. Moreover, if she reaches out to you, showing a controlled aloofness can heighten her interest. For example, if she wants to meet instead of jumping at the opportunity, you could respond with, "I have plans with friends that day, but I'll try to make it if I can." This response is not a direct rejection, but shows that you are not overly eager or available. You're living a fulfilling life, which in turn makes the time she does spend with you seem more valuable. However, it's crucial to handle this strategy with care. The goal is to evoke just enough jealousy to make her reconsider her decision without pushing her further away, by making her feel replaced or undervalued. Remember, the underlying aim is to reignite an interest and pave the way for reconciliation, not to foster bitterness or resentment. In conclusion, evoking jealousy is a delicate but effective strategy when trying to get a woman to come back. It leverages a basic human emotion to remind her of your worth and the good times you shared, potentially leading her to question her decision to leave. Used wisely, it can be a powerful catalyst in rekindling a relationship. But always remember that the best outcomes are those that come from genuine connections and mutual respect. Before diving into Lesson 3, take a quick break and make sure to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Number 3. Psychological resistance. Using reverse psychology to rekindle interest is a nuanced technique that hinges on human nature's fundamental desire for autonomy and decision-making. When applied thoughtfully in relationships, this method can provoke a reconsideration of one's feelings and choices, particularly in the complex dance of romantic reconnections. This strategy involves suggesting to your ex that perhaps you weren't the best match for her, thereby indirectly stating that she could do better. For example, by remarking, "I was never really the right person for you, go find someone who truly excites and cares for you," you subtly challenge her current perception and decision-making regarding the relationship. This approach can ignite a need within her to prove her autonomy and perhaps contradict your assertion by showing that choosing to be with you is indeed what she wants. The effectiveness of this strategy lies in its ability to tap into the human psyche's contrarian impulse, similar to telling a child, "No, you don't want vanilla ice cream, it doesn't taste good, you should try the chocolate instead." Often, the immediate response is a desire to challenge the directive and assert one's own choice, even if vanilla was not initially the preference. This form of reverse psychology is a classic tactic that can lead to several outcomes. Firstly, it can make your ex reflect on the qualities of the relationship and your compatibility more deeply, potentially seeing things in a new light. Secondly, it can induce a psychological reaction to reclaim the perceived loss of control over her decisions, especially if she feels challenged by your suggestion that she could do better. However, it is crucial to approach this method with caution and respect. The goal is to encourage reflection and reconsideration, not to manipulate or coerce. When handled improperly, it can lead to resentment or a strengthening of her resolve to move on. Therefore, while this technique can be effective, it should be used sparingly and always with the underlying intention of fostering genuine dialogue and understanding. Ultimately, implying that she can do better should be about helping her see the value in your relationship through her own reassessment, not about playing games. It's about sparking a thought process that leads her to independently conclude that the relationship might indeed be worth another shot. The key is to maintain sincerity and integrity, ensuring that any moves towards reconciliation are built on a foundation of mutual respect and genuine affection. Number 4. Fear of loss. Imagine if Cinderella decided not to drop her glass slipper. Would Prince Charming ever have realized what he was missing? Like a well-played chess move, showing that life without her is not only bearable but flourishing, can be a checkmate in the game of love. By demonstrating that you're the main character in your life story, thriving and admired by others, you invoke a powerful realization. She might just lose someone truly exceptional. Let's paint a picture. You're out there, living your best life. You're at charity events. You're the toast of your social circle. Your career is on an upswing. All eyes on you. Your social media? A gallery of adventures and achievements. Here's the kicker. You're not just showing off, you're genuinely building a life that anyone, including her, would regret not being part of. You've become the lead actor in a blockbuster life that everyone wants a ticket to. It's not about making her green with envy, but about turning the spotlight on how valuable and desirable you are. It's showing, not telling. Think of it as being the guy who's got VIP passes to every exclusive event. Suddenly, everyone's interested, right? Your aim is to weave a narrative so compelling that she starts to question her exit strategy. Did she leave too soon? What incredible episodes will she miss out on? To master this, you don't need to be James Bond, but you do need to channel some of his charisma and mystery. Be the man who's booked and busy, whose time is a precious commodity. When she calls and you say, "I'd love to catch up, but I've got this incredible event I can't miss," you're subtly hinting that your world is vibrant, full of opportunities and, importantly, other admirers. But here's the twist. You must keep it classy and respectful. This isn't about playing games or emotional manipulation. It's about letting her see the natural consequences of her decision through the lens of your fulfilled life. It's about being so good they can't ignore you. In essence, let your life do the talking. Be so good, so involved, so irreplaceably vibrant that the fear of loss becomes not just a whisper but a roar in her mind. Remember, people cherish tickets to a sold-out show. Make sure she sees that life with you is just that, a show not to be missed. Number 5. Rekindling past connections. Ever wonder if your romantic sequel could be as heartwarming as the comeback of vinyl records? It's time to dust off those old records and play the soundtrack of your shared past, tuning into the hits, not the misses, of your relationship. Bringing up those golden memories might just be the ticket to a successful encore. Picture this. You two, laughing until your sides hurt under the starlit sky of your first camping trip, or the time you both tried, and spectacularly failed, to bake a souffle. These aren't just memories, they're the private jokes of your relationship. Mentioning these moments acts like your greatest hits album, reminding her of the unique melodies you created together. It's about hitting the play button on those laugh-out-loud moments and feeling the warmth of familiar tunes. Now, don't just skim through the playlist. Dive deep into those blockbuster adventures and epic laugh fests. Talk about that spontaneous road trip where you discovered a town out of a storybook, or those challenge-accepted moments when you both ran your first 5 kilometer. These stories are your crowd pleasers, showing her that the best parts of your show are worth a rerun. People appreciate growth and maturity. Show her that the time apart has made you a better, more insightful person. Perhaps you've picked up new skills, developed new hobbies, or simply grown more emotionally mature. Letting her know that you've evolved demonstrates your awareness of past issues and your commitment to personal improvement. This reassurance can be crucial for her willingness to reconsider things, as it alleviates fears of falling back into old patterns. None of the above strategies will be effective without sincerity. Your attempts to reconnect must come from a place of genuine interest and care, not just a desire to win her back for the sake of it. Communicate openly about your feelings, regrets, and hopes for the future. Sincerity in your words and actions will convey that your interest in rekindling the relationship is honest and deep. Rekindling past connections is about more than just reigniting old feelings. It's about creating a new path forward that honors the best parts of your past and the growth you've achieved separately. It's about showing her that the narrative you once shared still holds unfinished chapters that might be worth exploring together. With patience, reflection, and heartfelt communication, the past you cherished can pave the way for a new beginning. Number 6. Be friends with her friends. Girls often seek the opinions of their friends and family when it comes to relationships. It's commonly said that if you can win over her friends and family, you're already 50% of the way to earning her approval. If a girl is being slightly distant from you, becoming friends with her friends can bring her closer. She will love that you are making an effort, and it will also make her interested in you. Imagine stepping into a party where everyone's a familiar face to her but new to you. Instead of sticking to her side like a postage stamp, venture out. Engage her friends in a light, humorous conversation. Think of yourself as the friendly new neighbor everyone is curious about. It's about making connections that could form a fan club, not just for her, but for Team You plus her. It's these little interactions that show her friends the cool guy she's always talking about. And remember, puns can be your best friend here. Nothing breaks the ice like a little well-done humor at a barbecue. Let's clear this up. Being in the friend zone isn't always a bad thing, especially when it's her friends we're talking about. Show that you value their opinions and enjoy their company. It's like getting good reviews on Yelp. It builds your credibility. But here's the kicker. Keep it classy. You're aiming to be the guest star everyone loves, not the main character in a soap opera. The truth is, when you're not around, her friends are probably going to talk about you. Make sure what they're saying could make headlines for all the right reasons. Be the guy they root for in her love story, the hero who deserves a sequel, not a cliffhanger. When the two of you have an argument, reaching out to her closest friends and family can be a very effective method. You can find out how she's doing, whether she's still angry or has calmed down, and assess the likelihood of a successful reconciliation if you approach her again. Her friends might even serve as a bridge to help mend your relationship. So, after you've schmoozed and charmed, when she comes back with those drinks, you might find her slipping her hand in yours a little more firmly, staking her claim. It's her way of saying, "Yep, he's with me." And while she knows her friends wouldn't dream of stealing you away, it's that instinctual, playful protectiveness that says you've done something right. In conclusion, integrating into her social network isn't just playing it smart, it's playing it right. It strengthens bonds, creates shared experiences, and hey, who doesn't want a partner who can be the life of the party and the soulmate? So next time you're mingling with her friends, remember, you're not just building bridges, you're launching a full-scale charm offensive. Number 7. Be unpredictable. If you're pondering how to spark a reconnection with your ex, embracing the art of unpredictability might just be your secret weapon. Picture this. Your relationship has a favorite book that she thinks she knows by heart. Now imagine introducing an unexpected chapter that captivates her anew, making her question what she thought she knew and eager to read more. Say goodbye to the old routines that might have painted your past relationship in a predictable hue. Instead of replaying the greatest hits, why not surprise her with something completely different? For instance, if your dates had become as predictable as Tuesday tacos, shake things up. Invite her to a midnight market, an impromptu dance class, or a spontaneous road trip to a mysterious destination. These fresh experiences disrupt the mundane narrative and show her a new side of you that she hasn't yet discovered. Unpredictability isn't just about what you do, but also how you engage. If she's used to certain reactions from you during discussions, change the script. Approach sensitive topics with a new level of depth or understanding, or bring up subjects you've never discussed before. This shows her that you're not only different, but that you've grown. It's like showing her a preview of a new season in what she might have thought was a concluded series. While you're reaching out and re-engaging with her, keep a bit of mystique about your own life. Let her know you're pursuing new interests or have picked up new hobbies since your split. This not only makes you more appealing, but also subtly hints that there's much about your new life she has yet to discover. It's intriguing and invites her to want to be part of your evolving story. Even as you seek to win her back, balancing how often you reach out is key. Too much contact can seem desperate, but sprinkling your interactions with unexpected messages or calls can spark curiosity and anticipation. Let her wonder when she'll hear from you next, and make each interaction count by being engaging, upbeat, and interesting. By strategically using unpredictability, you transform from a known entity into a thrilling mystery she is compelled to solve. It's about reminding her that the story of us has more twists and turns, potentially leading to a new and exciting plotline together. Just like a book she can't put down, becoming an engaging, evolving presence in her life can reignite her interest and maybe, just maybe, turn the page back to a chapter where you both star. Interesting, isn't it? What impressed you the most from the points mentioned? But don't switch channels just yet, because we still have something that will amaze you. We'll keep surprising you right up until the very last moments of this video. Number 8. Direct approach. When the goal is to rekindle a past flame, sometimes the most effective strategy is the direct approach. No frills, no detours, just heartfelt, straightforward communication. It's about reaching out with sincerity and a clear intent, much like pressing the reset button with awareness and maturity. Don't hide behind vague texts or social media interactions. Instead, pick up the phone or send a personal message. Start with something simple and sincere. You might say, "I've been thinking about our time together and would love to catch up. Are you open to that?" This directness shows confidence and respect for both her and the relationship you once shared. It's crucial to confront the elephant in the room, the reasons behind your breakup. By addressing these issues openly, you show that you're not only aware of what went wrong, but are also taking responsibility where needed. This could be as straightforward as saying, "I've had time to think about how things ended between us and I realize where I could have been better. I'm sorry for the pain caused." This kind of honesty can set a solid foundation for whatever comes next. Let's plan a meetup. Suggest a neutral yet meaningful setting for your meetup. Maybe it's the coffee shop where you had your first date, or a park where you spent many lazy Sunday afternoons. Returning to these places can help strip away the layers of the time spent apart, bringing you back to where it all felt right. Say, "How about we meet there? It always had a special vibe for us." Clarity is king. Let her know why you're reaching out. Whether it's for closure, reconciliation, or simply to apologize and clear the air, being upfront can prevent misunderstandings. You could frame it like, "I want to meet because I value what we had and think we could at least be great friends, if not more. I just wanted to be honest about my feelings." When you do meet, focus on listening more than speaking. This shows that you're not just there to express your feelings, but are also interested in hers. Active listening can demonstrate your growth and readiness to engage with her genuinely, not just relive the past. Finally, be ready to accept her response, whatever it may be. Respect her boundaries. If she isn't interested in rekindling anything, respect her decision and thank her for her honesty. Expressing, "I appreciate you meeting me and sharing how you feel, and I'll respect your wishes," underlines your maturity and respect for her autonomy. Using the direct approach in rekindling a past connection shows maturity, respect, and a genuine desire for resolution or renewal. It strips away the games and uncertainties, focusing instead on building a bridge, whether to cross back to each other or to move on with mutual respect. Number 9. Persistence that wins her over. Winning back a heart isn't about grand gestures performed once in a blue moon. It's about the slow, steady warmth of a sunrise, consistent and gentle. If you're aiming to soften her heart and rekindle what once was, consider persistence not as mere repetition, but as a demonstration of sincere commitment. Consistency is your secret weapon. Like a gardener tending to a favorite plant, regularly check in on her, send thoughtful messages, and express genuine interest in her well-being. This isn't about smothering her with attention, but showing that your care isn't seasonal. It's perennial. Over time, These consistent actions can turn frosty memories into warm thoughts of what might be again. Never underestimate the power of a small, thoughtful gesture. Whether it's a handwritten note slipped into her favorite book you return, or a playlist of songs that soundtrack your happiest days together, these tokens of affection are like soft whispers from the past, reminding her of joyful moments shared. Patience is key. Patience is not simply waiting, it's maintaining grace in the pause. Understand that rekindling feelings and repairing trust takes time. Display patience not just through words but through actions. Let her see that you're not in a rush, that your interest in her isn't tied to timelines or expectations. Actions speak louder than promises. Let her see the ways you've grown since you were last together. Maybe you've tackled old bad habits or developed new, positive ones. This visible change can be incredibly persuasive, showing her that your journey apart has prepared you for a better journey together. Support her when she's facing challenges, without any expectations of reciprocation. Being a reliable presence during tough times can demonstrate your commitment and care beyond romantic interests. While persistence is key, respecting her space is crucial. This shows that your attention is not about possession, but about genuine connection. Find that delicate balance between being present in her life and giving her the room to breathe and miss you. If past mistakes are part of the landscape, address them with genuine apologies. Acknowledge what went wrong and express your regret in a way that feels meaningful. Apologies can bridge divides, mend old wounds, and show maturity. Occasionally, suggest doing something that you both loved in the past. Whether it's visiting that quaint coffee shop downtown or taking a hike where you once watched a meteor shower, revisiting these happy places can reignite old sparks. Through these persistent yet respectful efforts, you can gently remind her of the deep connections you once shared. Each step, taken with intention and care, can help weave a new tapestry from old threads, possibly leading to a renewed relationship built on a deeper, more mature foundation.
Master the art of seduction. How to keep your cool with women. Ever wondered how to stay cool when your partner's words sting like a jellyfish? Join us on today's episode as we decode the art of navigating emotional storms in relationships. We'll delve into the subtle difference between a cry for help and a personal attack, and equip you with the tools to respond with wisdom, not just react with emotion. So, if you're ready to turn those hurtful moments into opportunities for growth and connection, buckle up and get ready to discover the power of emotional intelligence in love. Distinguishing between a cry for help and a personal attack. In the intricate dance of relationships, women, like all of us, experience a tapestry of emotions. Sometimes in moments of frustration, fear, or pain, those emotions can manifest in words that sting and cut deeply. As men, it's crucial that we develop the wisdom and empathy to navigate these emotionally charged situations with care. As Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This sage advice is never more relevant than when faced with hurtful statements from the women we care about. The first step in keeping our composure is to recognize the difference between a personal attack and an emotional outpouring. Personal attacks are deliberate and cruel, designed to wound and belittle. But more often, a woman's sharp words are a spillover of her own inner turmoil, insecurities, unmet needs, or feelings of being misunderstood. They are a clue, a cry for understanding, not a true indictment of your worth. Failing to recognize this distinction can send us spiraling into a destructive cycle of defensiveness and escalation. In the heat of the moment, we may say or do things we later deeply regret, eroding the very foundation of love and trust we've worked so hard to build. Over time, this pattern can lead to scarring resentments and even the painful fracturing of our relationships. Imagine coming home to your girlfriend after her stressful day at work, only to be greeted by biting criticisms about your perceived shortcomings. If you allow yourself to be triggered and react with anger, you'll soon find yourself mired in a vicious argument that leaves you both wounded and exhausted. But if you can pause, breathe, and see the pain beneath her words, you open the door to a conversation of healing and reconnection. The path to becoming a man who can weather these storms with grace starts with honing your emotional intelligence. By learning to identify the patterns and triggers lurking beneath the surface of a woman's hurtful words, you gain the power to respond with wisdom, empathy, and love. As we continue this journey together, we'll arm you with the tools and techniques you need to become the partner every woman dreams of having by her side. A rock of stability and understanding in the tempestuous sea of emotions. By mastering the art of keeping your cool, you won't just improve your relationships, you'll deepen your own resilience and inner peace. So let's dive in and explore how you can transform even the most challenging moments into opportunities for growth, connection, and love. The rewards for both you and the women in your life will be truly profound. Before we move on to the strategies, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment where you had to distinguish between a personal attack and a cry for help? If yes, comment 1. If no, comment 0. Strategy 1. Avoiding defensiveness and emotional escalation. As we navigate the rocky terrain of hurtful statements from the women in our lives, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of defensiveness. We feel attacked, misunderstood, and the natural impulse is to protect our ego by lashing out or shutting down. But as Seneca wisely observed, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. Imagine your girlfriend accuses you of not caring about her feelings. In a flash of hurt and anger, you might be tempted to fire back with a list of all the ways you've shown your love and support. But this knee-jerk defensiveness only validates her perspective, fueling the flames of conflict. Instead, picture yourself taking a deep breath, acknowledging the pain beneath her words, and responding with empathy. I hear how much you're hurting right now, and I want to understand better. This simple act of emotional aikido can diffuse the tension and open the door to genuine dialogue. Defensiveness breeds aggression, trapping us in a vicious cycle of escalating emotions. The more we defend, the more our partner feels the need to attack, and so the destructive dance continues. To break this pattern, we must learn to step back, regulate our own emotions, and respond with curiosity and compassion. One powerful tool for disarming defensiveness is the verbal sandwich technique. By bookending our responses with validating statements, we create a safe space for honest communication. For example, instead of reacting to "you never listen to me" with a defensive "that's not true," try "I hear how frustrated you are. I know I can get distracted sometimes, but I truly want to be a better listener. Can you help me understand what you need from me in this moment?" This approach demonstrates your willingness to take responsibility for your part in the dynamic, while also setting a boundary around absorbing undue blame. It's a delicate balance, but one that can transform even the most heated arguments into opportunities for growth and connection. As we master the art of non-defensiveness, we become the eye of the hurricane, a grounding force of calm amidst the swirling chaos of emotions. We learn to see our partner's hurtful words not as a personal indictment, but as a distress signal, a plea for understanding and support. By meeting defensiveness with curiosity, aggression with empathy, we create a new paradigm of communication in our relationships. We become the partners we wish to be, emotionally resilient, psychologically savvy, and deeply attuned to the needs of those we love. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is to be unlike the one who performed the injury. Let us rise above the fray of hurtful words and defensive reactions, and instead cultivate the wisdom and compassion to heal even the deepest relationship wounds. Before we go to strategy 2, the second slice of bread, if you find this information valuable, please consider sharing this article with those who could benefit from its message. Word-of-mouth recommendations like these greatly help in spreading knowledge. You can also hit the like button and tip me according to the value you feel you've gained from this work. Your support makes all of this possible, and I truly appreciate it. Strategy 2. The second slice of bread, emphasizing temporality. The first slice of bread, validating emotions. In the heat of an argument, it's all too easy for hurtful statements to fly. You're so selfish. You never listen to me. I can't stand you right now. These words cut deep, triggering our defensiveness and urge to retaliate. But what if we could diffuse the emotional charge of these statements, creating space for genuine understanding? Enter the first slice of bread in our verbal sandwich technique, validating emotions. By acknowledging the feelings beneath the words, we shift the focus from attack to connection. Imagine your partner hurls an accusation, "You don't care about my needs at all." Instead of launching into a list of counter-examples, try reflecting the emotion. "It sounds like you're feeling really neglected and unimportant in our relationship right now." This simple reframe acknowledges their emotional reality without agreeing with the literal content of their statement. Validating emotions disarms defensiveness by showing that we hear and understand our partner's experience. It says, "I see your pain, and it matters to me, even if we disagree with their interpretation of events." This empathetic approach shifts the dynamic from adversarial to collaborative, paving the way for more productive dialogue. When we validate emotions, we also help our partner take ownership of their feelings. A statement like "You make me feel worthless" becomes "You're struggling with feelings of worthlessness right now." This subtle reframe emphasizes that while we can affect our partner's emotional state, we are not responsible for their reactions. It grants them agency in their emotional world. Validating emotions is a skill that requires practice and patience. It means resisting the urge to correct, argue, or dismiss, temptations that only breed more disconnection. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." By choosing to meet emotion with empathy, we cultivate resilience to weather relational storms. Of course, validating emotions doesn't mean we become emotional punching bags, absorbing endless attacks without boundaries. It's one tool in our communication toolkit, to be balanced with assertiveness and limit setting when necessary. But in the face of hurt and anger, leading with validation can be a powerful first step towards healing and understanding. As we practice this skill, we may find that our partner's emotional outbursts lose their sting. We learn to see the person beneath the pain, to understand that their hurtful words often reflect unmet needs and longings. By meeting those raw places with compassion, we build bridges where there once were walls. Validating emotions is the first slice of bread in our verbal sandwich, a foundation of empathy upon which all productive communication rests. In the next chapter, we'll explore how adding a crucial last phrase can further diffuse the staying power of hurtful statements. The second slice of bread, emphasizing temporality. In the heat of an emotional argument, it's easy to feel like the intensity will last forever. Accusations like, "You're so selfish," or "I can't stand you," seem to carry the weight of permanence, as if they define the entire relationship. But as Seneca wisely observed, all things human are short-lived and perishable. By adding a simple phrase to the end of our emotional statements, we can acknowledge the transient nature of even the most overwhelming feelings. This brings us to the second slice of bread in our verbal sandwich technique, adding "right now" to the end of an emotional statement. Let's revisit our example from the previous chapter. Your partner says, "I feel you don't love me." By tacking on "right now," the statement becomes, "I feel you don't love me right now." This small addition makes a world of difference. Firstly, it emphasizes that the feeling of being unloved is a temporary emotional state, not a permanent reality. It's a fleeting experience, subject to change as circumstances and perceptions shift. This recognition alone can help de-escalate the emotional intensity of the moment. It's a reminder that just as the storm will pass, so too will the intensity of the current feeling. Moreover, adding "right now" subtly reframes the accusation as a confession of a present emotional experience, rather than a timeless indictment of your character or the relationship as a whole. It's the difference between saying, "You're a terrible partner," and "I feel like you're being a terrible partner right now." The first statement feels like an immutable fact. The second acknowledges the fluidity of emotional experiences. By modeling this language ourselves, we encourage our partners to adopt a more nuanced perspective on their own emotions. Instead of getting swept up in the heat of the moment, they may start to recognize the impermanence of their own intense feelings. They may even begin to use this language themselves, saying things like, "I feel so angry at you right now," instead of "you make me furious." This isn't to minimize or dismiss the importance of the emotional experience. It's crucial to validate the realness of the feeling in the present moment. But by adding "right now," we create space for the possibility of change. We acknowledge that while the feeling is intense and overwhelming in the current moment, it's not the whole story of the relationship. By reacting with language that honors the temporary nature of emotional states, we cultivate resilience and perspective in the face of relational challenges. We learn to weather the momentary storms, trusting that calmer seas lie ahead. Benefits of the sandwich strategy. The verbal sandwich technique, adding "I feel" at the beginning and "right now" at the end of an emotional statement, offers a wealth of benefits for managing intense emotions in relationships. By reframing hurtful statements as temporary emotional experiences, this strategy helps us understand the true nature of what's being expressed. When your partner says, "I feel you're a terrible person right now," it becomes clear that they're confessing a present emotional state, rather than declaring an immutable fact about your character. This recognition alone can prevent countless unnecessary arguments. Instead of getting defensive and firing back with a counterattack, you can approach the situation with empathy and understanding. You might respond with something like, "I hear that you're feeling really hurt and angry with me right now. Can you tell me more about what's causing those feelings?" By shifting the focus from confrontation to understanding, you create an opportunity for genuine connection and problem solving. Moreover, the sandwich strategy allows you to give your partner the right to their own feelings without agreeing with their assessment of you. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not events that disturb people, it's their judgments concerning them. Just because your partner feels a certain way doesn't mean it's an objective truth. By acknowledging their emotional experience without taking it on as your own, you can maintain your sense of self while still showing up for your partner. It's important to remember that emotional statements, no matter how intense, are fundamentally temporary. Feelings, like the weather, are subject to change. One moment your partner may feel consumed by anger, but given time and space, that anger will inevitably subside. By using the sandwich strategy, you remind both yourself and your partner of the transient nature of emotional storms. This perspective can help you stay patient and composed, trusting that calmer seas lie ahead. Of course, this technique isn't just for managing negative emotions. It's equally valuable to apply the sandwich strategy to positive feelings. When your partner says, "I feel like you're the most amazing man in the world right now," adding that "right now" can help prevent unrealistic expectations and future disappointment. It acknowledges the wonderful feeling in the present moment without turning it into a permanent standard you'll always be held to. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By incorporating the verbal sandwich into your communication toolbox, you enhance the quality of your thoughts about your partner's emotional expressions. You learn to see them as temporary experiences rather than defining statements, which in turn promotes greater resilience and adaptability in your relationship. In the next chapter, we'll explore the art of controlling emotions. Navigating the stormy seas of emotions in a relationship can often feel like trying to sail without a compass. Mastering your emotional responses isn't just about keeping your ship afloat. It's about charting a course toward a healthier, more fulfilling partnership. Strategy 3. The art of controlling emotions. Navigating the stormy seas of emotions in a relationship can often feel like trying to sail without a compass. Mastering your emotional responses isn't just about keeping your ship afloat. It's about charting a course toward a healthier, more fulfilling partnership. Think of yourself as the captain of your emotional vessel. A captain cannot blame the sea for his ship's direction, just as you cannot blame others for how you feel. Owning your emotions means taking the wheel firmly in hand and steering yourself through emotional squalls with purpose and intent. It starts with recognition. For instance, when she comments, "You're always on your phone," instead of snapping back, consider why this comment might sting. Is it guilt, annoyance, or something else? Acknowledge your feelings as your own response, not as a direct consequence of her words. Emotional manipulators often toss their hooks, trying to catch you in nets of guilt or obligation. By recognizing your role in your emotional reactions, you're better equipped to see these tactics for what they are and avoid getting ensnared. For example, if she says, "You'd spend time with me if you really cared," recognize this as a potential manipulation of your feelings of commitment. Respond not with defensiveness, but with reasoned calm, such as, "I care about us deeply, which is why I think it's important we both have time for our own interests as well." Setting boundaries is like drawing lines on a nautical map, guiding your journey and keeping you from straying into treacherous waters. Clear boundaries help prevent resentment and miscommunication, keeping the relationship's waters calm and navigable. Communicate your needs clearly. If you're not a fan of late-night discussions because you're not at your emotional best, express that. "I feel we have more productive discussions when we're both fresh in the morning. Can we table this until then?" Consistency is key. If she crosses a boundary, remind her of it not as a scolding captain but as a co-navigator who's noticed you're both off course. Phrase it in terms of your feelings to keep the cannons of accusation at bay. "I feel overwhelmed when we discuss this at night" is less confrontational than "You keep bringing this up at the worst times." Just as you set boundaries, encourage her to define hers. Respecting each other's boundaries is like respecting the buoys marking safe passages. Mastering the art of controlling emotions through personal responsibility and setting boundaries doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. Instead, it involves understanding and managing them proactively to avoid emotional shipwrecks. By becoming the skilled captain of your emotional ship and drawing clear maps of your boundaries, you ensure that your relationship sails smoothly toward the horizon of mutual understanding and respect. Remember, a calm sea never made a skilled sailor, but a skilled sailor always knows how to navigate the calmest path through any storm. As Seneca wisely said, "He who is brave is free." Bravely confronting and managing your emotions gives you the freedom to navigate your relationship with wisdom and composure. So, take charge of your emotional ship, set clear boundaries, and sail towards a more harmonious and fulfilling relationship. Strategy 4. If possible, take action. In any relationship, demonstrating empathy through actions often communicates your commitment more powerfully than words alone. When tensions rise and emotions become heated, it's crucial not only to listen, but also to make tangible gestures that show you truly care. Imagine a scenario where she's visibly upset. Rather than defaulting to phrases like, "I'm so used to you being angry," which can invalidate her feelings and widen the emotional gap, engage actively. Show that her emotions impact you. This doesn't mean reciprocating her anger or frustration, but instead, offering empathy through your actions. A soothing hug or a gentle touch can reach places words cannot, providing comfort and reassurance that you are present and empathetic, not merely a bystander in her distress. Your body language speaks volumes too. A concerned look, a nod, or simply facing her directly shows you're fully engaged. These non-verbal cues significantly affect how your reactions are perceived and can help soften the emotional tone of the interaction. Moreover, when emotions escalate, clarity in your words becomes essential. Articulate clearly not only what you feel but also what you intend to do about the situation. This includes making promises, offering apologies, and committing to solutions. For instance, if a promise to change certain behaviors is needed, specify what actions you will take and ensure these commitments are realistic. Vague promises can lead to misunderstandings and disappointments. If an apology is warranted, make it sincere and specific. Acknowledge what went wrong and why it hurt her. This shows that you understand the impact of your actions and are taking responsibility. A heartfelt apology can significantly heal emotional wounds. After listening and discussing, it's beneficial to decide together on the steps to resolve the issue, involving both immediate actions and long-term changes. Make sure these commitments are actionable, agreed upon, and most importantly, followed through. Indeed, as Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In the realm of relationships, reacting with thoughtful actions often tells her you care in ways words cannot. This approach does not just bridge emotional distances, but also builds a foundation of trust and mutual respect, essential for any lasting relationship. So, the next time you find yourself in a heated moment, remember that your calm and caring actions can speak louder than any words. Strategy 5. The strategic use of silence. In the tempest of a heated argument, silence often seems like the safest harbor. You might believe, if I stay quiet, this storm too shall pass. Yet, when she's visibly upset and voicing intense emotions, your silence can be misconstrued as indifference or dismissal. Imagine her feelings echoing in a void, met with no recognition or response. This can intensify her sense of isolation and aggravate the situation you hope to calm. Silence is indeed a double-edged sword. While it can prevent the escalation of tension by allowing her space to articulate her thoughts, it can also suggest a lack of engagement, or, worse, a disregard for her emotions. The art lies not in retreating into silence, but in wielding it with precision. Here's how you can master this balance. Engage actively in silence. As she expresses her feelings, your role is to listen intently. This doesn't mean merely waiting out her words or crafting your next argument. It involves truly engaging with her emotions, understanding the message behind her words, and validating her feelings. This form of silence is rich. It's laden with attention and empathy. After she has shared her emotions, it's essential to break the silence in a manner that confirms your attentive presence. Sidestep dismissive replies such as, "It's late, let's not talk about this now." Opt instead for responses that resonate with understanding and a commitment to resolution. You might say, "I see why you're upset, and I'm glad you shared your feelings with me. Let's work together to resolve this." Support your words with actions that reinforce your commitment to finding solutions. This demonstrates that your silence was not evasion, but a thoughtful pause, giving due respect to her emotions and paving the way for constructive dialogue. Silence, when judiciously used, can de-escalate conflicts and deepen understanding within a relationship. However, it must always be paired with active engagement and transparent communication. By perfecting when to hold silence and when to voice thoughts, you ensure that silence acts as a conduit to greater understanding rather than a barrier. As Epictetus once advised, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In the context of relationships, embodying philosophy means using silence not just as a shield from conflict, but as a tool to foster deeper connections. Thus, harness the power of strategic silence to bridge gaps in understanding, not widen them. This approach not only maintains peace but also enriches the relationship, steering you both towards more empathetic and effective communication.
Thank you for joining us. If you found this video beneficial, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who might find it insightful. If you haven't already liked the video, please do so now to show your support. Also, reiterate the affirmation with conviction. I am worthy of attention. Your engagement supports our growth and enables us to continue delivering empowering content. Remember, these 7 steps aren't solely about garnering attention. They're about reclaiming your power, confidence, and self-worth. Internalize these lessons, integrate them into your life, and witness the transformation in your favor. Remain resolute, embrace stoicism, and I'll see you in the next video.